Good morning and warm greetings to everyone present here. On behalf of the Resource Center for Tobacco Control, Department of Community Medicine and School of Public Health, PGI, Chandigarh, it is my privilege to welcome the esteemed experts and all the participants to the national webinar on Youth Against Tobacco, Building a National Movement for Change in India. We are delighted to have with us a distinguished gathering of experts, academicians, policymakers, youth representatives, public health professionals, and students from across the country. Your presence reflects the growing commitment to empowering young people as central drivers in India's tobacco control efforts. Before we formally begin, I would like to share a few points, important instructions to ensure the smooth conduct of the webinar. Minimum of 60% attendance is required to receive the participation certificates. The certificates will be emailed to the registered email IDs within 7 working days. Please make sure that full name written in your Zoom is correctly registered because that will be the name that will be reflected on the certificates. So it is a kind request to all of you to keep your microphones muted all the times until and unless it is your turn to speak. Along with that, for questions or comments, our chat box are always open. If you have any query or comments, you can write up us to us. Otherwise, there's a raise hand feature in Zoom. You can use that, and we will ask you to unmute yourself. So with this, let us start with the today's program. So to formally begin the webinar, may I please request I am honored to invite Professor Sonu Goel, Director, Resource Center for Tobacco Control, to deliver the welcome address for the webinar. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jatina, for I think very nicely telling about the rules of this webinar so that it is being conducted smoothly and it starts on time and perhaps end on time. Yeah, so I think this webinar holds a key importance because of many facts. Number one, we have in most of the webinars, many of the people whom we invite are the big stalwarts of tobacco control who had done wonderful work in tobacco control for so many years. However, in this webinar, we have invited practitioners, real practitioners who are they are experts, but as well as practitioners of tobacco control who have seen the journey of tobacco control over a period of time, but they are simultaneously active on the field and they know about the field things as well. The other thing about this importance of this webinar is I always used to say that youth-led interventions are always key to success. Any intervention which are youth-led. We have seen in HIV in various African countries. We have seen in tuberculosis in various countries where they have made successful dent in in tuberculosis, and also scatterly in malaria and other emerging infections. So I was just scanning the literature and I have seen that those interventions were not only relatively quicker, but also sustained. So that is why the importance of this webinar is that if we can drive the youth, and we are already doing that. Some of the experts will be sharing the experiences of how the youth led interventions in their state or at the national level has actually led to a major drive in tobacco control. But yes, we'll be hearing more that how we can further galvanize it, right? In the current direction, how we can galvanize the youth further in tobacco control. When I was in UNICEF long back, around 20 years back, I have witnessed, especially I was posted in this northeast states, initially in Sikkim, thereafter in all the 8 states. I was looking after immunization program at that point of time. But I have seen that in majority of these states, I'll not name the states, but majority of the states, there are some youth clubs which are there, and they were quite active. And when we when we did talk with them and we discussed with them about the issue of immunization, they were primed, and they were very they were sensitized for this, and then they drove the program rather than we. So I'm really confident that if we can make a sort of a drive throughout the country, the youth drive throughout the country, they can change. They can change the current scenario where we are in. So we are already in the phase where a momentum is there. The government of India, along with other stakeholders, including Vital Strategies and many others, are doing wonderful job in tobacco control, despite a lot of resistance from tobacco industry and various other inherent resistances. But yes, I think if we can take this force along more effectively, then we can do a lot of wonders. So I think I stop here, and we will be having very interesting panel discussions and interesting addresses how we can drive youth for tobacco control further. So thank you, and over to you, Jatina.
Thank you very much, sir, for your warm welcome and for setting an insightful context for today's deliberation. So, before we move to the special addresses by guest of honors, we have two small videos. May I please request the team? These videos are prepared by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So, I would request all of you to watch with us these videos.
बाबा, स्कूल में हमने सीखा है कि हर बीड़ी 7 मिनट जिंदगी चुरा लेती है। दिन की 10 बीड़ी मतलब 70 मिनट गया।
अरे बेटा, तुझे तो हिसाब बहुत आता है।
बाबा, मैं तो हिसाब पढ़ रहा हूँ, पर आप अपनी जिंदगी का हिसाब बिगाड़ रहे हो। मुझे डर लगता है, कल को अगर मैंने भी बीड़ी पकड़ ली तो?
नहीं बेटा, तू मेरे रास्ते पर कभी मत चलना। ये आदत सिर्फ सांस ही नहीं, अगली पीढ़ी का विश्वास भी तोड़ती है।
तो बाबा, शुरू आपको ही करना होगा। आप छोड़ोगे तो हम सीखेंगे।
मेरी आखिरी बीड़ी है। आज से मैं अपनी जिंदगी का हिसाब सही करूंगा, तुझे एक अच्छी मिसाल दूंगा।
Hello, Namaste everyone. Welcome to Tobacco Free Youth Campaign 3.0. So आज हम अपने युवा से जानने के लिए आए हैं that did they ever try to copy an elder because of tobacco? तो चलिए जानते हैं. So did you ever try to copy your elder because of tobacco?
No, these are not things to be copied. There are very good things one can copy.
क्या सोच है रे तेरी?
नहीं, कूल तो लगता है लेकिन करना नहीं है. प्रिंसिपल्स के खिलाफ है.
मैं तो कुछ और ही समझ रहा था.
No, नहीं कभी नहीं. No.
बड़े घर में करते हैं तो छोटे भी करते हैं फिर.
No,
Not so far. Okay. Nobody, fortunately.
नहीं.
All right.
लोगों को देखा है कॉपी करते हुए, बट किया नहीं.
Say no to tobacco.
Say no to tobacco. Say no to tobacco.
Say no to tobacco.
Thank you, Dr. Avita and Rajiv sir. So these were important for us to see what is the impact that tobacco is giving on youth for their and how they are an important part of this deliberation. So moving ahead, we now have our guest of honor segment. We are privileged to have eminent leaders, everyone contributing significantly to the fields of youth empowerment, innovation, and tobacco control. To deliver this special address, may I please request Ms. Sharing Bhutia, Senior Vice President and Chief Innovation Officer, Salam Bombay Foundation, Mumbai, to share her remarks. Ms. Bhutia is a development professional with over 20 years of experience in adolescent health, tobacco control, nutrition, and mental well-being. She has mentored thousands of adolescent leaders, pioneered grassroots advocacy models, and works extensively with youth from underdeserved communities, championing life skills, leadership, and preventing health education. Ma'am, we welcome your address.
Thank you, Jatina. Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jatina. And good morning to all the esteemed speakers. And hi and hello to all the young crusaders who are there for this particular national webinar. And it is always an absolute delight to be here, because whenever I get a chance to speak in a room full of young people, my energy doesn't just increase, but it doubles up. On the screen, though, I do not see much young people other than Jatina. But I hope that, of course, those who have joined the webinar, we must be having that group.
We all are
And
young. Huh?
yeah, heart is very young, correct?
Yes.
Or maybe when we started, correct, we were also young, right? So I think that's great, and it sets a very great example. So today's gathering reminds us of a simple truth that when youth stand up, entire systems begin to shift, right? So across our school, communities, and digital spaces, I've seen young people asking the right questions, and that too very boldly and unapologetically. Why are shops selling tobacco near schools? Why should addiction decide someone's future? Why can't my neighborhood be tobacco free? Now, these questions are not whispered, huh? They are spoken with confidence, creativity, and conviction. Now, we often say that youth are future. We always say youth is our future, youth is our future. But what I believe, and I say it often, that youth are the force of the present. They are not waiting for permissions, they are taking ownership, raising awareness, challenging harmful norms, advocating for safer spaces, influencing their peers far more effectively than any warning label or advertisement ever could do. A national movement doesn't begin with policies. That is what we have understood now. It begins with people, with the young leaders who care deeply, with educators who believe in them, with organizations who stand beside them, and with all of us listening to them. So our youth are already shaping a healthier India, and this movement, which is of course the movement of youth who are attending this conference and those who could not attend, is only going to grow stronger from here. So from this platform today, I want to tell every young person present that you are the movement, you are the momentum, and India is ready to follow your lead. Thank you.
Thank you for your inspiring words and valuable insights, ma'am. So now we have our next guest of honor, Dr. Rakesh Gupta, President, Rajasthan Cancer Foundation, Jaipur, to address the gathering. Dr. Gupta is one of India's most respected surgical oncologists and tobacco control advocates. He has served as director of the American Cancer Society, is a WHO World No Tobacco Day awardee, and has pioneered initiatives such as some smoke-free districts, tobacco-free workplaces, and India's early quit-line models. He is also the author of 2 books on tobacco control. Sir, we now invite your reflections.
Thank you, Jatina. And I thank RCTC team for inviting me to this very important webinar. The topic is definitely interesting, and it's a big task that we wish to undertake, building a national movement to change in India. So I always have some questions, as has been my sort of framework, my own framework, that what's happening and what is not happening, both should be considered in a balanced manner. So yes, a lot has been happening since we started the tobacco control movement in India. Government has reached out to the youth in various ways, and the recent spots have definitely been very impactful. I do consider that the Kotpa Section 6 in particular has made a lot of difference. We have the Toffee program, which is definitely impactful in patches, I would say, because we need to still evaluate as to how effective or influencing it has been on youth. And when we say that, yes, Toffee requires further evaluation, I consider it's time that we have the GYTS 5 rounds. In fact, GYTS 5 rounds should be held more frequently so that we know actually as to how our youth is perceiving the menace of tobacco and how it is getting away from it. So similarly, yes, it's very important that we should also have got the reports of evaluation of the preceding 2 tobacco-free youth campaigns, which I'm sure somewhere it must be there, but we have not known about it. I see that tobacco-free youth movement definitely has several components. And as I was reading these, I felt that yes, a very specific approach is missing, which is quite all right in a way. The government, other side of the coin, you can say that yes, we require all the arms to go together so that it will have impact. But yes, I think more thought should be given as to how youth in particular can be made tobacco free. And there comes a point that I wish to make on tobacco free generation. That tobacco free generation is a very useful concept. It's a concept which has come almost now 13 years ago. It has, although not seen its utility everywhere, only Maldives have recently done it, and their UK is considering it. In New Zealand, we had a bummer in a way that the preceding government had taken a decision, but it could not happen. Nonetheless, I feel that it's time that our government considers it to make a national policy on tobacco-free generation. The process is going to be slow, but definitely it will also help some youth who have not been able to know more about the tobacco menace. They can be kept away from it. Nonetheless, yes, I must also inform that we had a talk, online talk with the one who had established tobacco-free generation as a concept, and he said that you need to have a strictest enforcement for TFG to succeed. And that's where the challenge is, that our enforcement is weak. Whether our national policy, if and when it comes, whether the deterrences will be such that people will not like to violate the norms of the policy. So I'm waiting to listen to Ashish ji in particular as to what's happening at COP11 about the youth, and also to others' thoughts, because it's a very well sort of expert panel in the panel discussion. So I'm sure it will definitely help us understand it further, and strategic initiatives, what we can do. Perhaps that is something which we should be considering. So thank you very much once again for giving me this opportunity. Back to you, Jatina. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your thoughtful reflections and the guidance. So moving ahead, now I take the honor to invite Mr. Ashish Pandey, Director Tobacco Control for Southeast Asia and East Mediterranean region at Vital Strategies, to deliver his remarks. Dr. Pandey is a seasoned public policy and development professional with over 20 years of experience across government, international agencies, and non-profit organizations. He specializes in multi-country program management, governance systems, and high-level stakeholder engagements. Currently leads the regional tobacco control strategies for 2 WHO regions. Sir, the floor is yours. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jatina, and I just joined Dr. Rakesh Gupta to thanks RCTC and Dr. Sonu for organizing and inviting us in this. I am my fellow advocates, and most importantly, the young leaders in India. I see the very good, nice panel has been put together. So very good. I believe it is still morning for everyone. So good morning to all. So it's my honor to join this webinar today. This very title itself of this gathering carry a message of hope, that India's youth are not merely the participant of change, but they are the driving force behind this. Just quick fact that India has more than 27 crore users, and every day 5,500 young Indians initiate some form of tobacco use, claiming millions of lives, burning family, and running out of collective potential. But what gives me a tremendous optimism is witnessing young people across, not just in India, but across globe, rising with the conviction, creativity, and courage to challenge the existing problem, what are there in the world. India, with this vast demographic strength and extraordinary level of youth activism, can build on even a stronger movement. Dr. Sonu mentioned a few from the other field. Imagine the impact if every school, every college, every youth club, every digital community has one advocate for tobacco-free future. I just give a reference of a couple of things which I see in past in India, which is a youth-led movement. There was a rose campaign in Karnataka, where the school-going children, they went out and talked to the vendors, giving a rose and pleading them and appealing them that please do not sell tobacco to us. We did pre and post compliance survey, and in that particular area, the sale to the minor has dropped at least by 60 to 80%. That really gives a strong message and what should I say, motivation to drive this campaign forward. There was also a yellow light campaign. We all know that in 100 meters of education institution, sale is prohibited, but still there is a sale. So, but how to demark that? So the school going children, they mark that 100 meter and claiming that area that this is tobacco free zone. So those kind of a youth-led campaign has made us a good impact in past. However, the biggest problem today, what I feel, is not just the availability, but also it's a digital marketing trap. We know it's a digital digital age. Tobacco industry use influencer lifestyle reels, claiming online messagings to make harmful product look very cool and stress reliever. So we need to also improve our understanding about this platform to flip their strategy, create honest and youth-oriented creative post, calling out this fake promotions. Dr. Rakesh, just to share about what is happening in COP, I share what Sharing has mentioned. It's not the policy which really make the changes. It's the people. I see here how people are how the delegates are fighting over creating those policies. There are a few very good policies, forward-looking measures are under discussions here, which has included there are 16 different youth and government-led initiatives being discussed. But there are tobacco industry supported delegates also who are also fighting tooth and nail to stop it, or at least tone it down to the level where it lose its significance. So what I say is that if every youth, every young person know the truth about this industry tactics, if every adolescent felt empowered to say no, every peer group reinforce their choice, I don't see why we cannot also envisage tobacco-free youth generation like Maldives has very recently announced. In India, we have a very good campaign going on, tobacco-free youth campaign, where we are talking about tobacco-free education institution, tobacco-free villages. So those are the area I think we have already initiated, and with the power of this young community, which is many of them are here with us, I believe it's not something that is not achievable. It's difficult. The problem is there deeply rooted in the system and the society. But however, we have seen that how youth has changed the world, the country, the government around the world. So I encourage each of you to see yourself not just as a participant of this webinar, but as a founder of this national movement. You have the power to change attitude, influence peers, influence policymaker, harness social media. That's the big power that you have, and challenge the old norms with a fresh idea. Your voice matter. So say no to tobacco. Thank you.
So before Jatina comes, I think just one word, because Ashish ji has pointed out about COP. Many of the participants might not be knowing about it. Just briefly, that COP is a conference of parties, the largest conglomeration of the policymakers and the civil society. I think it's currently happening in Geneva. So Ashish ji, who is based in US, and previously he was with us in India. So he is currently in Geneva attending COP, and simultaneously he has consented for being part of this webinar as well. So this is just an additional information which Ashish ji has given. Thank you, Ashish ji.
Thank you, Dr. Goel.
Yeah, Jatina.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your insightful address. We extend our sincere gratitude to all our guests of honor for their insightful contributions and for strengthening our collective commitment to youth-driven tobacco control. So before we move ahead to our keynote session today, may I request all the participants to kindly switch on their cameras so that we can capture a virtual group photograph. So please, team. So we have 20 screens.
In the meantime, you all come on the screen. I just want to announce, because we will be having the next tobacco-free times on this particular issue. So if you have done something youth-centric, if you have galvanized something youth-centric at your state or at school or wherever, so please narrate the small experience, a short experience in the chat section. Because it might not, we may not be able to find time for everyone, but yes, we may find space for everyone in the tobacco-free times, and which is largely circulated. I can see many youth in this forum. So please post it. So how many screens done?
Sir, we are done with 15 screens. The next few seconds, we'll be done.
So just to you move to the next section, I really have, how much I want to stay in this discussion, but I really have to go. The COP is
I think you might be.
Yeah. So
I know there are multiple side meetings and all those things going on in the
Good
COP,
morning
and
to
you
all.
must be part of.
Good morning to all.
Yeah, you must be part of these committees. So, but anyway, I think thank you very much, Ashish ji, for being part of us in this forum as well. And maybe I think whenever you find time in between this webinar, so you may rejoin at your will.
Absolutely.
Right?
Thank you so much, and good luck to all the panelists for that great discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for joining. So we have successfully taken a group picture. Thank you, sir. So now moving ahead, we have a keynote address by Ms. Sharing Bhutia on potential of youth towards tobacco control in India. So before the keynote address, so okay. So we'll move on to the keynote address. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Jatina. So I have a PPT to share. Okay, is PPT visible? Fine. Okay, hi again, everyone. So when I would like to start directly that, when we speak of tobacco control, the first thing that usually comes to our mind are laws, warnings, enforcement, and healthcare system. But Salam Bombay Foundation, we recognized something powerful years ago, and that is that real change happens when young people lead it. And there is a reason for that. Young people are very, they understand. They have curiosity, they have peer pressure, stress, and easy availability of tobacco around their schools, but they also understand the solutions. They know they are courageous enough to question, the creativity to influence, and the digital fluency to amplify their ideas. So, Salam Bombay Foundation began with a simple belief that a well informed youth is a change maker and not just a beneficiary. And over the years, across Mumbai and beyond Mumbai and Maharashtra, in fact, we have seen this belief come alive. We have seen young leaders ignited the quit tobacco movement. I will share a few slides. Okay. So, inspired by the Quit India movement and using street plays, rallies, and public messaging to promote freedom from tobacco. They led the Life Se Panga Matle Yaar media campaign, also using music and pop culture to counter glamorous portrayals of tobacco in films. They also transformed festivals to tobacco-free Ganpati pandals, engaging committees and stakeholders to make celebrations healthier. When tobacco advertisements flooded the buses, youth advocated with Best. Best is a local, very common medium in Mumbai, resulting in over 4,600 buses freed from surrogate ads. Their advocacy with Chief Minister of the state and relevant stakeholders helped strengthen enforcement of the smokeless tobacco ban in Maharashtra. And with Tambaku Ko Dishum digital campaign, students use social media to expose violations, leading to the removal of hundreds of illegal ads. And in the Snapped was a survey which was done by kids and young youth. The full form of Snapped was Stop Neighborhood Advertisement and Promotion of Tobacco survey. You documented they themselves because it was from their point of view. They documented how shops around schools targeted children, data that informed policy discussions at municipal and state levels. Now, when we talk about these various campaigns or initiatives led by youth, let me tell you, these were not isolated incidents, correct? These are youth-led milestones in India's fight against tobacco. And Salam Bombay Foundation's role was just to recognize, nurture, and amplify this potential. We just equipped them with strong knowledge about tobacco's harm, life skills to resist pressure, leadership opportunities in schools and communities, platforms to present ideas and findings, confidence to advocate with honesty and courage. Now, as a result, we saw that there was a rising wave of young change makers forming a collective shield against tobacco influence. Now, as Dr. Sonu also said earlier, that youth-led tobacco control is no longer an idea. It is a proven, impactful strategy. So now, to every young person who's attending this webinar, the movement needs you. You are already the momentum. Now it's a time to add even more strength to it. Now, I would like to leave you with few suggestions or recommendations. I would say, number one, take the lead. Don't wait for permission. Start conversations. Questions what seems normal but is not right. Raise awareness in your own circles. Remember, leadership is not a title, it's an action. Number two, form youth forums or clubs. Gather like-minded peers in your schools, colleges, workplaces, or community. When young people unite, they achieve what individuals alone never can. Number three is build campaigns that speak your language. We don't know, correct? We are oldies. Use reels, blogs, podcast, street theater, music, whatever expresses you best. And your creativity is superpower. Craft messages that young people will actually listen to. Number four, I will suggest don't work in silos. Collaboration multiplies impact. So join hands with youth groups. There are so many groups in India, correct? But everybody, most of us are working in silos. So don't do that. Join hands with youth groups, NGOs, local authorities, and digital creators. Movements grow stronger when voices grow together. Number five is call out for violations responsibly and fearlessly. If you see illegal sales near schools, colleges, speak up. If you see tobacco promotions targeting youth, report them by the eyes, ears, and voice of your community. Number six, I will say, bring more young voices in. Inspire your juniors, classmates, siblings, colleagues, neighbors. A movement grows when more people carry it forward. Number seven, advocate. Please advocate. Do not hesitate. Approach your ward officers, speak to your principals, meet your local leaders, share your findings. Youth have influenced policies before, and you absolutely can do it again. Now, India has already witnessed the power of youth leadership. That is what we have seen. Today, where we are, it is not just because we started today, correct? It has been started by some people who were young at that point of time, and that is why we are here. Now is the time to take it to the next level. Let's come together to amplify each other and build a national youth-led movement strong enough to protect millions of lives. Remember, you are the voice, you are the strength, and India is, again, I'm saying, India is ready to follow your lead. Thank you so much. Jatina, over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, we have few questions. So, sir, shall we take the questions now or at the end of the session? Mr. Sanjeev, you can type your question in the chat box. We'll have the question answer round at the end of the session during the webinar, like around 11.
If there is burning question, Sanjeev, yeah. If there is any burning question right now, maybe you can ask. And Sanjeev, yeah, please go ahead. If there is a burning question, yeah.
Sorry, I'm interrupting in between, but the thing is that you have said that rightly, the burning question, because I feel the coming up speakers will be able to address that also. So today, everybody, of course, it's appreciable. Everybody is appreciating youth. कि हाँ वो आ रहे हैं बहुत अच्छे से कर रहे हैं and people are coming up and youth are awakening, right? But our media, till we don't have the mileage with the media, till we don't have a mileage on the social network platforms, we're not going to achieve a great thing in India, at least Indian society. मुझे नहीं लगता मैंने पिछले 1 महीने 2 महीने से आई एम इनटू काउंसलिंग फॉर द लास्ट सो मेनी इयर्स मैंने कोई रील्स देखी हूँ मैंने कोई एंटी टोबैको को कैंपेन्स देखे हूँ मैं आई एम 57 एट द मोमेंट मैंने टीवी में कोई सीरियल्स देखे हूँ मैंने कोई प्रमोशनल एक्टिविटीज देखी ऑफ कोर्स होती थी लेकिन अब हमें कहीं पे कोई ऐसी चीजें नजर नहीं आ रही एंड वी हैव अ ग्रेट इन डेप्थ एंड सेकंड वी ऑल आर रिलीजियस इन नेचर वी कैन मेक इट डैम सक्सेसफुल by reaching to the temples and mosques, by teaching to the churches, wherein these promotions can be done, these appeals can be done to the masses that see, this is our religion, against our religion. Like in Sikhism, they have a strict discipline, and wherever they find, they always go against that. But in Hinduism, in Islam or in Christianity, we don't have such disciplines. We have to achieve the world level success, right? We have to achieve the people, we have to reach the people through their minds and their hearts, through their religious values. Sorry, I conclude myself.
No, thank you. I think these two are very pertinent suggestions, Sanjeevji, and we will take your points later on as well. We have noted them down, and definitely, I think both the things are very pertinent. So we'll continue the session, and yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So thank you so much, ma'am, for delivering the session. So moving ahead, we now have a panel discussion on youth power to policy power, designing India's first youth tobacco-free roadmap. So for this session, Mr. Rajiv Kumar, project coordinator, will be the moderator of the session. So may I please request Rajiv sir to kindly lead the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Jatina. And thank you so much for this important keynote address by ma'am. So with this, we now move to the most awaited segment of today's webinar, the panel discussion on youth power to policy power and designing India's first youth tobacco-free roadmap. So we will have like so many great line of experts, the youth experts. But before moving ahead, let's take one moment to hear two young voices who represent the spirit and purpose of this movement. We now invite you to listen a short video message from Hriday Kedwal, grade 9, and Nehmat Sidhu from grade 9, as they share their inspiring thought on the role of youth in building tobacco-free future. Chaitanya, can you reshare again? Your sound is not there.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kriday.
And I'm Mehmet.
And we are from Learning Path School, Mohali, Punjab. So, as you all know, tobacco and nicotine are still huge problems in our country, hooking young people, harming health, and draining resources. But here's the truth. Students aren't just a part of the statistic. We can be the part of the solution. First, let's talk about knowledge as power. A lot of teens try vape pens or cigarettes simply because they don't know what they're getting into. We can change that. Imagine student-led awareness events, fun campaigns, myth-busting reels, or even a Did You Know corner in our school newsletters. When information comes from us, people actually listen. Second, we can tackle peer influence, the biggest driver of tobacco use. Instead of judging, let's build a culture where saying no feels normal, confident, and even cool. Whether it's supporting friends who want to quit or simply refusing to glamorize smoking or vaping, our social circles can become smoke-free zones. And it doesn't stop here.
Because our voice carries beyond our friend group. We can raise it where it matters, by working with teachers, health clubs, and community groups to push for stronger anti-tobacco policies on campus. No scary bans or lectures, just smart steps like better counseling access, smoke-free events, and student ambassadors trained to guide others. We can also take the fight online. Imagine flooding social media with creative videos, memes, or challenges that make a smoke-free lifestyle look sharp, confident, and aspirational. If harmful trends can go viral, why not healthy ones too? And finally, we lead by example. When students choose health over habit, confidence over pressure, and action over silence, we don't just protect ourselves, we inspire an entire generation. So let's build a generation that doesn't wait for change, but creates it. One choice, one friend, one campaign at a time. Together, we can clear the air.
Thank you. Good morning,
So thank you
everyone.
both. Thank you both. And this is truly a powerful start to our panel discussion and set a tone for why we are here today. And your message remind us that a craze to envision change often begin at the young age only. So today we are privileged to have with the exceptional lineup of experts, practitioners, and youth leader who is sharing the future tobacco control in India and their experience in spam policies, enforcement, digital advocacy, behavior change, and youth mobilizations, and also CSR engagement, making this panel truly comprehensive representation from the ecosystem we aim to build. So I would like to warm welcome to our chair of this session. So first, Dr. Rakesh Gupta, sir, President, Rajasthan Cancer Foundations, and Ms. Radhika Shrivastava, ma'am, Senior Director, Hriday, New Delhi. So thank you both chairs to joining us this important session. And we appreciate your contribution in youth empowerment and tobacco control in India. So we have introduction to our panelists. I will just will announce the list of people who joined us.
Before Rajiv,
Yes,
before you introduce them, I think let us have a few words from our chairs at the onset of this session. Yeah. So
yes, sir.
starting
I
with-
just
yeah.
about to invite experts. So before starting, I will invite our chairs to give a brief message. So
Yes,
over
Dr.
to
Rakesh. Dr. Rakesh,
Radhika,
starting with
ma'am.
Dr. Rakesh. Yeah. And then Dr. Radhika.
Thank you, Dr. Sonu and Dr. Rajiv, for this opportunity. And I consider we have a lot of good practices already And the challenge for us have been how do we replicate, how far have we replicated wherever these practices have developed, in particular by Narottam Seksaria Foundation and by Hriday. I know I have been more closely associated with Hriday and they have done a lot of work in Delhi. So I consider replication is one thing that requires our attention. It is to my fellow panelists, I wish to say that appreciate what has happened, but also remember this past. We are here now to bring a change, and therefore we are here also because we still have a problem. So I think that requires a specific address when you're talking about the issues. So spend more time on that. How do we demand that the youth be attended, in particular amongst all the stakeholders, both by the government and also by those who are working in tobacco control? We really need to have the attention of all the stakeholders, but these are two agencies which can definitely take the things forward. And as Dr. Meeraji, who is not here today, she always says, have you asked youth as to what do they want? I think that is very important. We heard this for those who have been saying no to tobacco, but what's happening to those who are not saying no to tobacco and are getting initiated into it? I would definitely endorse what Shering has said, that people need to speak up and bring more people into the fold, the youth in particular, through wherever these youth-oriented programs are happening, in the Toffee particularly. And I think it's time that we have voice of youth against tobacco as a on tobacco-free youth campaign. And so over to you, Radhika, for your initial notes.
Thank you. Thank you so much to the entire RCTC team, Professor Sonu Goyal, Rajiv, for this opportunity. I've been working in tobacco control for over 20 years now. And one of the things that I have realized is that, there has been a journey. When I joined tobacco control, that was the time when the Indian Tobacco Control Law, COTPA, as we know it today, it was signed, and then it became an act, and then the enforcement process. So what I'd like to reflect on is that youth leadership in tobacco control was important then, and it continues to be important. And I think that the beauty of youth leadership is that it keeps evolving, because it's like an intergenerational approach. Many of us, when we were young people, and I agree with Dr. Sonu, we are all still young, but if we talk about our age as such, we all were youth advocates. We continue to support youth advocates. And with the likes of, say, Professor Rakesh Gupta, Professor Meeragi that he spoke about, these have been people who have been big supporters of youth leadership. And so it is, and when you talk about youth leadership in tobacco control, it is not just young people acting alone. And Shering spoke about that, and Dr. Gupta also spoke about that. It is about this intergenerational approach, right? So here we are, people in our 40s, 50s, 60s, or even more, also talking about youth leadership. So it's that, ensuring that those generational interlinkages continue. Another thing which I wanted to highlight was that, initially what we have observed is that youth engagement in tobacco control or any other public health issue starts from a micro level. It could be you start talking about tobacco free norms in schools. You start talking about motivating family members to quit tobacco if they're users. But slowly and steadily, it graduates as your advocacy skills build up. to talking about national level policies. And I think one of the things that we also should encourage is that it's not that you only need to be a tobacco control advocate as you grow into a young person. It is, you can wear many hats. You can even take up tobacco control as a professional engagement, which many of us have done. But it's not that you only have to, as you grow, be an advocate if you are working in the public health space. So that is again something that I wanted to highlight. And also that it is important to also make sure that whatever we are doing is evidence-based. That is absolutely critical, whether it be youth advocacy or whether it be policy making. We have to ensure that the whatever we are advocating for is evidence-based. I'll stop here. I'm very eagerly looking forward to listening to all the panelists, and would probably come back and reflect on what we have to hear. So thank you so much.
So thank you both the chairs, Dr. Rakesh Gupta sir and Dr. Radhika Srivastava ma'am. So now we will give a brief introduction to our panelists. So we have with us Dr. Shibam Kapoor, Technical Advisor, STOP India, Global Monitoring, Vital Strategy. Mr. Lalit Dogra, President Abadi, Youth Professional, working with Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. Dr. Hansa Kundu, he is also working with Vital Strategy as Technical Advisor Enforcement. Dr. Arushi Sabharwal, State Consultant, National Tobacco Control Program, Haryana. Mr. Dikshant Sharma, DDR Field Expert, Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan. He is working with the Social Department. And Ms. Diksha, she's working as a CSR coordinator with Hero Honda Motorcycles. So we have a different perspective and different domains youth. So we warm welcome all of you. So let's start our discussions. We have 2 rounds of questions. If time permit, we will go with the 3rd round. Otherwise, we'll start. And I request the chair, in case you want to give any comment on remarks by the by the panelist, you can pitch in between. So thank you. And now we will start our first questions to Dr. Shibam Kapoor. Dr. Shivam, young people today face aggressive digital marketing by tobacco industries, and how the young people meaningfully challenge and counter the sophisticated marketing and digital influence strategy used by tobacco industry to target their generations. So over to Dr. Shivam.
Thank you, Rajiv, and good morning to all, and thanks RCTC for having this important discussion today. Talking about the question particularly, I think industry time and again has used new media tools, and their sleek campaigns and their social media flavors on top of their cute packaging. And I think it's time now that the question is very right, that how youth can meaningfully challenge the industry, their sophisticated marketing. I think I echo with Dr. Rakesh sharing and Dr. Radhika, which is that if you see something, you say something. That's the norm, I think, that youth should follow. So I'll talk on around 4 strategies which can be actionable for youth to challenge industry. Number 1, the way industry is using digital platforms, youth-led digital surveillance and reporting is what is the need of the hour, by creating some peer networks on the same platforms to monitor, document tobacco marketing, the product placement and violations using the same new technology, because our youth is actually, driven with technology. So we can do that in terms of surveillance and reporting. Number 2 is peer education and counter messaging by training our youth as anti-tobacco influencers or tobacco control influencers. I think a clear-cut example that now that we are seeing is with Tobacco-Free Youth campaign in India with Ministry of Health involving a lot of youth. So that's the key that even Ministry of Health has showcased how youth empowerment can bring that change. So I think those kind of counter messaging over digital platform is also a way to counter industry. Number 3 is partnering with civil society, public health, and academia. I think we are seeing in the Tobacco Free Youth campaign the kind of contents that are being created, and I think youth can lead this by more and more empowerment when we partner with academia, public health, and civil society all together. And number 4 is using youth-based policy advocacy, of course, which is evidence-driven, by pushing for more and more transparency measures. I think we are aware that how COTPA has ban on advertising, which is the traditional advertising, direct and indirect. But there are regulatory blind spots or loopholes when we talk about the newer social media advertising. So I think that's where more evidence-based policy advocacy is the need of the hour to counter industry. So yeah, I think I'll just end by saying that if tobacco industry is playing on your screen, youth must hold that camera and show them the lens. So yeah, I'll stop there.
Great. So thank you, Dr. Shivam, for this great message response to this question. So let's move to the next panelist, Mr. Lalit Dogra. Giving your role in Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, so what strategy can help build a national youth-driven movement for tobacco control, and how can a platform like NSS, NCC, and other youth organizations meaningfully contribute to these collective efforts? So over to Lalit.
First of all, thank you so much, Rajiv sir, for giving this opportunity, and really very wonderful to see again Professor Sonuji, Rakesh sir, and all my fellow mates here and all the participants. See, before answering this question, we all should remember why this movement matters. It is not an Indian level issue; it is a global matter. Because globally, when I was just checking the facts and working in the same domain for last 3 to 4 years as a volunteer, specifically targeting tobacco, so globally, 8 million people, die every year, out of which 22,000 deaths are every day. So when as an individual you feel and you see like due to this tobacco, 22,000 people are dying every day. And if you talks about India, only like the largest share is like 1.35 million people dies annually, which is around 3,700 Indians in a single day. And when we are talking after this session, like after the covering of this session, after 2 hours, nearly 300 people could die due to this tobacco. So this is not like something which we are discussing, or this is something we are here to advocate. This is time to act, because RCTC is playing very beautiful role, like mentoring us, how we have started ourselves, either working with the governments right now as a young professionals, or working with the NSS, NCC, whatever. So I think Government of India is already playing a very wonderful role, because in NSS, I believe that there are 40 lakh students every year enrolled every year. So they all are engaged in different levels of motivating or advocating, or making people aware through their village adoption programs, through their non-institutional programs, through their camps, adventure camps. So with these type of movements can have that voice, so that we can actually fight against it. Why individually I am into it is like I want to reduce this death rate. As madam said, our honorable chairperson said that when they were youths and they were doing like this, so definitely when we will come to your age, definitely this 150 number could be half of it, or I could say that we all together can reduce it at least at our national level. So what steps these organizations like NSS, NCC, or like as an NGO, I'm also a co-founder of the NGO named Youth for Voluntary Action in Himachal, that is YUVA, with a 1,600 active volunteers in Himachal Pradesh. we have started a mission called Rise for Youth Mission. That is like Nasha Nahi Josh Chahiye. Simply and very straight. And this is, nothing like I'm saying in front of screen, okay, we are here to, we got a chance to just speak in a forum. It's, just to feel it. I myself feel very proud that I'm not a tobacco user and never touched it. So that's why I can, go into field and directly connect with people so that I can myself connect with them. And in our local dialects, in our local gestures, we have to show them mirror. If industry have the strategies to, influence us, then I can bet you youths have an, unity which can counter them. And India is the, largest youth population. India is not only advocating for the Indian context. I have attended many national workshops with the RCTC, for which I again thankful for them. And they always, Rajiv ji is here, they are mentoring us. And I could, say that as a youth, there are many platforms. I want to add an keynote here for the organizations which are working in the tobacco field. Government of India have launched a portal that is like in My Bharat portal, under which all the civil societies, non-profits, either government organization, either PGI is also registered in that. So we can, have the experiential learning programs so that it is not about only talking. We can, invite youth. They will work with you, what tobacco industry people are working. They can come and they will earn some credit and in-hand experience certificates on the basis of, verified by the government or the Ministry of Health. So this is how, youth need, platforms are there. We need to just connect with them. And we can, create Indian youth forces. We have that capacity so that we can build a network, not like Indian level. We all can, have that sense, that responsibility. Like Diksha is here, Dikshant is here, Rajab is here. We all can come together. Very rightly, sir said, when Sanjay Dikshit, he said that, we are here only coming and speaking. It's not time for that. It is to engage with it. And also, one madam said that collaboration is not here. Definitely, we are working in silos. We all have civil societies, we all have NGOs, we all have missions, but we all want to, reach the Mount Everest singly. That is not possible. As a team, we have to come together and we have to climb that peak so that we can advocate for this beautiful, like need of the hour, I could say that. Because my single aim at the end, again, I want to say that I want to really work for this, the death rates. And out of this 150, 70 people are, dying, even not taking tobacco directly, indirectly they are dying. So what is their issue? What is their, like reason why they are into it? And at the end, I will definitely take the opportunity to say that if governments, if the industries have, like solutions or problems, then I could say that it's not time to create future for youth. It's time to create youth for the future of India or future of the globe. So these forums are, giving us the platform. So thank you so much, Rajiv ji. I hope I have added some points as a youth, and definitely I'm like available to collaborate in any way. I'm available to take mentorship. Either Dr. Sonu ji is here. I'm seeing him. Thank you so much, sir, for allowing us and giving platform for our voices. And definitely a network will be there. And next, I'm discussing with the Rajiv sir. We will definitely coming with a network under which all type of domains, youth, different like cities or different, like from the north to south, we will create a network of youth so that aggressively, now it is a countdown. We will start a countdown against tobacco. So thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Lalit. Nasha nahi josh chahiye. This is the statement you passed, and it's really nice and energy you have taken to address this response. You have mentioned one My Bharat portal by the Youth Ministry, so we can even you can just explore how we can pitch in the tobacco control discussion in the NSS camps and other areas. So maybe through that we can possibly address the awareness campaign, or maybe some other way. So thank you, Lalit. Let's move to our next panelist, Dr. Hansha Kundu. Dr. Hansa,
can
yes,
I have two brief questions?
Yes, sir, please.
Shivam to respond, where is the time for youth? Has it been assessed any time? And to Lalit, what is his own efficacy score with the approach to NSS? or My Bharat portal? Very brief answers. But we can get the answers later.
Thank you, Dr. Rakesh. Can you, if I heard the question rightly, where's the time for youth?
Yeah, you say
Is that
they need to be engaged in counter messaging, but have we ever assessed how much time youth has? Because that's the challenge, you know.
so? So I think, sir, when we talk about youth empowerment, the way we see it, that it's time taking is the key. That we have to change that narrative to make it towards you, that it's not a time taking thing, it's not something additional. And what even Radhika was saying, that it shouldn't be looked as that you have to start doing this as a separate activity. Whatever you're doing, you are influencer, you are a doctor, you are in whatever capacity. I think that's the narrative probably with which Ministry of Health is also trying now with our TFYC, that they shouldn't be taken as a separate audience, because industry is quite clear by targeting them. And that's where instead of us just protecting them, it's time for them step up. And from where will they get the time is that आज के टाइम पे जो बच्चे पैदा होते हैं, हमें उन्हें मोबाइल सिखाना नहीं पड़ता है, वो हमें सिखा रहे होते हैं. So I think when we use such things that attract them, they themselves feel empowered, and they become the advocate. So मुझे अपने nephew को नहीं सिखाना पड़ रहा है मोबाइल और apps. They come to me and teach me. So I think that's where by using the intergenerational changes, by accepting that we can utilize the current trend and make them the face. That's where I think we should step in.
Okay. My thought is that it's a special skill, and to engage and enthuse the youth into the participation, it's very important. They should also know as to what incentive, how they will get incentivized. That's my thought, Shiva. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Lalit, to respond the next query.
Yes, Dr. Shivam already cleared it, and sir is also adding. Sir, my simple answer is for everything, either we are youths or either we are seniors. We don't find it.
That's not a question to you. The question is, what is your efficacy score? Let me say on a scale of 10, how you have been able to engage NSS or work through My Bharat to be an influencer and effective.
Oh, sorry, sir. So, sir, taking to your question, definitely, sir, if I scale myself, like at present, like connecting to a network and, making people aware about this particular situation, I think connecting to a network, I'm like on the score of 8 to 9. But, actually advocating or actually targeting a single issue, I think for that, we need a mentorship. We need people like you to guide us, so that how aggressively and very focusedly, like we will just, counter, or we can create a movement against tobacco. So we have network. In that we are very good, sir. We have teams, we have youngsters, but yes, we need a little bit tuitions, little bit, guidance from you, so that we can come over 10 on 10. So that is my reply to your answer, sir.
Let me say my failure of last 2 years in Rajasthan, that I have worked through the NSS specifically, and in last 2 years, I have not been able to make any headway. That's why I asked you this question. Engaging NSS, asking the NSS coordinators to empower the people to work in the youth, in the villages which they have been assigned. The score is 0 in my case. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Definitely, you are saying a very true fact. But yes, sir, I can add one thing. We either, directly connecting with the officials or something. We have unit leaders, presidents of these units, so that they are more active. So it's better to directly connect with the youths who are actually acting as the leaders in their units. I think they can, help us, and we can guide them. So I think I can help in identifying these specific leaders in the states of Punjab, Himachal, and Chandigarh, and we can make a network with them, and so that we can add how they can contribute for the same. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, Rajiv.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lalit, for this response. So over to next panelist, Dr. Hansa Kundu. From a global experience, what is one replicable youth lead model India could adopt immediately? In what way can India government meaningfully involve youth in policy implementation of tobacco control? And what mechanism can ensure that young people voices influence enforcement and accountability of tobacco control? So over to Dr. Hansa.
Yeah, thank you, Rajiv. Thank you, RCTC, Sonu sir, Rakesh sir, Radhika ma'am, everyone, for giving this opportunity and organizing this very meaningful webinar. So before going to the question, I would just, because Rakesh sir asked where is the time, I would just give two examples of Malala and Greta Thunberg. So we all know them. They are youth advocates working in different areas, not tobacco control. But when we talk of tobacco control, we don't know any one single person who is, advocating like they are doing in climate or other issues. So if we talk about other areas, like we have Indian Youth Climate Network, very efficient. They are organizing their conferences and they're having a say in whether it is COP related to climate change or other areas. But if we talk about tobacco control, we don't have any strong network like that. So yeah, moving now to the main question, global experiences. So I will be sharing two movements or campaigns rather. In Massachusetts, USA, there was the 84 movement. So it is one of the strongest examples of sustained youth-led tobacco control network in United States. And it is a beyond awareness campaign. So it is not just an awareness campaign by the youth. So 84 name has come because the campaign was initiated in 2007, and that time 84% of the Massachusetts youth did not smoke when that campaign began. So that is how the name came. So like if we talk about India, in GYTS, it is approx 8% tobacco users, 13 to 15 years old. But then it means that 92% of the youth are not smoking or not using tobacco. So that is how this name came. So what the movement, this 84 youth movement did was they conducted retail environment assessments, monitoring flavored tobacco, vape marketing, youth appealing packaging. They documented and reported local violations of tobacco laws. They met city councils, mayors, health boards. They testify the public hearings on tobacco retail regulations. They mobilize statewide events like youth power summits. And the systematic evidence which they had collected through the retail assessment themselves, it became a strong advocacy tool both at the local level and at the state level as well. So between 2012 and 2019, there were more than 160 cities and towns in Massachusetts which adopted local regulations regarding banning of flavored tobacco, including menthol. So the evidence, the data which was collected by this 84 youth movement in Massachusetts on flavored tobacco products in stores, especially the stores near schools or educational institutions, that played a very important role. They showed how flavors like cotton candy, mango, gummy bear targeted teens. They shared personal testimonies about peer vaping trends. Like in schools, every student, every child knows who is that one child or the two children, who are those people, who are those children who are smoking or using vapes. So sharing your personal testimonies regarding your peer vaping trends it plays a very important role. So these kind of advocacy, their specific, this 84 movement advocacy was repeatedly cited by local boards when they were passing stricter retail controls. In fact, in November 2019, Massachusetts became the first United States to pass comprehensive ban on all flavored tobacco products, including menthol. So, and legislators noted very clearly that youth testimony was something which was a very compelling evidence behind the bill. So basically they reframed that tobacco prevention, it's not, it is a youth-led social justice issue rather than only a health issue. So that is something which this movement did. And another example, one more I would like to state, it is a truth campaign which was launched in 2000 by the Truth Initiative, and world's most influential youth-focused anti-tobacco counter-marketing movement. So now there is a difference between the two movements. 84 movement focused on policy advocacy, retail environment, and truth campaign is more about mass communication and attitude, behavior change communication. So Truth campaign had very youth-centered messaging. They unlike the traditional public health ads, Truth uses youth as voice and not as health officials. Bold, very anti-industry messaging, pop culture formats like Salam Bombay sharing was also sharing. So music, memes, straight campaigns, social media challenges, and their tone was like expose industry manipulation and not just keep lecturing young people, do not just keep making them aware that it causes cancer. Everyone knows about that. Even when we are delivering the health relating messaging, we are only focusing on cancer. We are not focusing on youth centric messages like it will make you impotent, it will give you wrinkles, it reduces your fertility, messages like that. So that is something which they used in the truth movement. And very mass communication, youth driven media like social media series on flavors, hashtags, finish it, viral campaign encouraging youth to quit. Then they had youth ambassadors in schools. Similarly, we have tobacco monitors. Already we have in TOFI. So why not, involve those tobacco on similar lines of the truth campaigns? Why not involve tobacco monitors in the enforcement drives which are being conducted inside the school campus to see where there is tobacco litter, to see who is smoking inside the campus or using tobacco inside is there any guard? So just to make them tobacco monitors who are vigilant, who are a part of the school enforcement drives. So these are the evidence of this truth campaign was that they did some quasi-experimental, study, and then they found that they prevented almost 45 lakh nearly youth from smoking in its first 4 years. And they showed a 22% decline in youth smoking between 2000, when the campaign was launched, till 2004. So and now they are they have shifted their focus on e-cigarettes, or they're exposing Juul's youth marketing tactics and highlighting nicotine addiction. So there are other examples, very good example, a brief one from Thailand. They have this youth network against tobacco, which gathered at almost 300-400 students gathered at World Trade Center in Thailand in support of 85% pictorial warning policy, which was opposed in response to the plea which was submitted by the tobacco industry not to have this 85% warning. So, these youth involvement is very important. When I used to personally take sessions for school principals, it is a very common question. They say, why don't the government ban it? This is so harmful. But that is what I used to ask them, that how many of you have sent letters to the Prime Minister that you ban this product? How many of you have come, have protested on the streets? Like, we saw a lot of protest for the farm laws, and thereafter the farm laws was revoked. So how many of us have done that? How many of youth have come on the ground? Has the Prime Minister received 10 lakh letters from children saying that, you have to do something on this issue. No, it is not so. So we cannot just, we have to create that movement. That is why in the beginning I talked about Malala and Greta Thunberg. They created that movement that pressurized the world to look in the direction of climate change. So India has to leverage existing networks. I don't know. Rakesh sir was saying that NSS, he didn't have a good experience, but NSS, NCC, we have Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan. So we have to leverage those networks. And because we have TOEFI and we have good experience with TOEFI, we have to use tobacco monitors to monitor. The observation power of youth is par excellent. So we have to ask them to monitor, to be vigilant, especially the shops near selling tobacco near their education institutions, to monitor how the vendors are advertising. But for all of that, to report on the violation portal, but for all of that, we need to empower them. They don't know what is COTPA. They don't know whether advertising is banned or not. For them, advertising is not banned at point of sale because they see it everywhere. So we have to build their capacities in when it comes to COTPA and PECA. We need to inform that possession of e-cigarettes is prohibited. It's a banned product. So if anyone in your school is using, you have to give it to the authority. So training and capacity building, we have to government or NTCP has to do it for them. Institutional backing, because individually we have to make sure that anonymous reporting channels. But if we integrate through NYKS, NSS, and the school youth clubs, then they will have clear roles defined by NTCP. And recognition, definitely, like many panelists were and many people were saying, that recognition through certificates, some incentives, opportunities to present their findings during the events like World No Tobacco Day. And we already have Free Youth campaign, but we need to see it more often, in the sense on, even if we talk about social media, it has to be, the views have to be more, then only it is going to work. So yeah, these are some experiences from the global United States and Thailand, which I wanted to share and which we can integrate. And it's not only awareness, but yes, in monitoring offline, also they can play a good part. So yeah, thank you. Over to you, and I'm happy to address questions.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Hansa.
If I may
Yes.
answer Hansa's question, what she
Yes,
has
sir.
said, that we should utilize TOEFI monitors under TOEFI, that's one strategy we can adopt immediately. But that
Yes, sir.
again requires empowerment. When we talk of the movements which are happening globally and which are happening in US, understand that they always work through a very well worked out strategy, work plan, and they always take care of funding first, and the volunteerism, which is not there in our country so much, because volunteerism doesn't get rewarded as it is done there. So that one has to take in consideration when we are talking in Indian context. I think that Malala and Greta Thunberg, they worked through the toolkits which have now come into open as to how and why they did. And yes, I consider that tobacco industry perhaps is that powerful that it's still surviving. And perhaps we may not have the champion like that globally, but no harm in trying if we can get somebody who can do that work. That's my comment. Answer.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you,
I'd
sir.
also like to come in, Hansa. Thank you so much for those examples. From the Indian context, I think we can proudly say that there are two provisions of COTPA which actually saw the light of the day because of multiple partners being very, very active in their advocacy, including many of us here as civil society, but I think smoke-free tobacco rules and the 85% pictorial health warnings, these are global best practices of youth advocacy in India, particularly the 85% pictorial health warnings, because these were challenged in the courts, these were delayed for over 2 years, and we had in multiple states, through multiple partners, young people raising their voices. In fact, in Delhi, we had a press conference which was led by youth, in which we invited members of parliament who were there at that particular press conference, and youth were very, very vocal in asking where are 85% pictorial health warnings. These are published case studies. So I think that is something which definitely what worked there was that we actually had the researchers, civil society, young people, media all working together. And that is how youth voices were amplified. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. Thanks.
Thank you, Chairs, and thanks to Dr. Hansa for highlighting these best practices from the global. And I must say that someone who is listening your voice today in this webinar maybe can take lead and do such best practices in India as well. So thank you, and let's move to next panelist, Dr. Arushi Sabharwal. She is working as a national state consultant for National Tobacco Control Program, Haryana. So, Dr. Arushi, from your Haryana's experience, as there is ongoing youth campaign 3.0, so how you think that empowers school-going students to actively contribute to the tobacco control effort in their communities and online space? Because people and the young generation is online more often. So what do you think about it?
A very good afternoon to all. It is an honor, it is a privilege to be here among such pioneers of tobacco control in India, and there could be no better time for this discussion because we are in the midst of the Tobacco Free Youth Campaign 3.0 right now. So to begin with, I would like to emphasize on the fact that although the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare is the nodal ministry for effective implementation of tobacco control policies, but having said that, this is not possible without intersectoral, interministerial coordination, collaboration. It is not possible. We cannot achieve our targets for a tobacco-free generation in the near future. So we need to collaborate. There is an urgent need, there is a dire need for collaboration between the ministries of education, health, whether it's home affairs, youth, another environment also. So there are a lot of ministries that need to work together to bring this change in the society and the community. That is one. Now coming to how we can empower them through campaigns, through the ministerial coordination, and through campaigns like the Tobacco Free Youth Campaign. So to begin with, this time, I will first of all start with the Tobacco Free Youth Campaign that we're in the midst of. See, as we all know, the social media element is the major one that we are focusing on right now. And I'm really glad to share that in Haryana, the daily reporting for social media monitoring, evaluation, I'm getting really good reports from all districts, all districts. People are actively involved. We are focusing on all kind of platforms, whether it's X, whether it's Facebook, it's Instagram, all of those. And I myself, I have 4 handles. I am doing the same thing at the state level. So we amplify whatever is being done in our districts from the state, plus the content that we're getting from the Ministry of Health, we're amplifying that as well through our handles. That's one. Coming to what we can do through these kind of campaigns and through the ministries. So the first thing is that we could integrate tobacco control education into the school curriculum as a regular activity, as a part of the school curriculum, so that we teach them about the harmful effects of tobacco consumption. Also using integrative and interactive practices like debates, like quizzes, competitions, so that they are more involved in it. The students feel involved. Basically what I have seen, it's been 2+ years being a state consultant. for Haryana. So what I feel is those lectures and the run of the mill things, they don't work with students. You need to involve them. You need to engage them. That's really important. That's one. At the ministry level, I do feel the ministries of health and education in collaboration, they can carry out workshops, they can carry out trainings. And at the state level, obviously, the STCC would implement it with the help of the district tobacco control cells, where we would train students on public speaking, on how to design awareness campaigns so that students can do that. They can take the lead. Instead of we pushing people, if the students take the lead, that would be the best thing. Other than that, creation of youth-led councils is something I really advocate for. I do feel that prominent youth voices, they should be made a part of that table. When national strategies are drafted for tobacco control, there should be prominent youth voices as a part of that table. Other than that, there could be mini grant programs. We could encourage people, we could encourage students to create short films, maybe to carry out school surveys for effective implementation of tobacco control policies, to sensitize and make aware their peers. If we reward them, if we provide them with grants, that would actually support them. Other than that, I think we could go for national online. So other than that, I do feel that we could carry out national online campaigns, like maybe a hashtag smoke-free schools, a hashtag tobacco-free teens, basically anything, basically a national level or a state level social media campaign. That is really important. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Rishi. And you just highlighted that it's not like we need to make some innovative strategy instead of routine lecture and other activities. Definitely,
Yes, that
because
doesn't work. That
these
doesn't work.
days,
Yes.
yeah. So thank you, Arushi.
Thank you so much.
We'll move to next panelist first, Mr. Dikshant Sarma. Dikshant, based on your experience working with Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan in Chandigarh, so how can strong administrative support and political will be leveraged to scale effective communication and youth-focused tobacco control initiatives across the states? So over to Dikshant.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rajiv, for giving out this question to me. So, although many of the panelists have already portrayed very good suggestions and points in the field of tobacco prevention, and scaling up my question with Dr. Arushi's points, I will add up to this. It is very aligned with the suggestions of Dr. Arushi. Uh, since my area is substance abuse prevention, I like worked for 2 years as a principal investigator for Chandigarh administration, Department of Social Welfare. The project was on drug abuse prevention, and the major components which I focused was on skill development and family counseling. So through my experiences in Chandigarh, if you ask, the political leadership or the administrative control, how it can be utilized. So I would say the political mandate has to have a very good correlation with the administrative mandate. It goes hand in hand. It is not, I would say, far apart elements. So the administrative mandate should be that way, as other panelists also portrayed, that it has to be interministerial, cross sector, or I would say cross sector enforcement kind of a thing. Supposedly, in social justice and empowerment, we are actively running anti drug free India campaign, right? So this is very much allied with other agencies in a way that the awareness part, that is drug demand reduction, has reached on a way that people, or I would say the students, like as my experience, I, tell in past 5 years, I have conducted, more than 250 to 300 workshops. And at least this kind of level one awareness students have, that any unknown substance they have not to touch, or they at least know what is the referral mechanism or where they have to report. So 14446 helpline, they know, anti drug free India campaign helpline. So when we focus on any element, we have to be very much aligned on a single notion, that in tobacco case also, we have to pitch a single strategy, because I feel that we are now mugged up in so many things, and a single way out strategy is somehow missing out. If we are talking about social media outreach, so that strategy should be very much clear, that how it has to be targeted, what are the key performance indicators, and what is the basic search engine optimization SEO for targeting tobacco prevention or awareness. Until and unless in every state it is not clear, we cannot move forward with social media outreach. And with social media outreach comes the partnerships, because it is incomplete, as I told. So, partnerships with whom? With all the associations today we are discussing over here, and more important, the youth influencers. We have a lot of influencers across platforms. So they need to come up, they need to be collaborated, right? And they need to get certain kind of certification or tag as a youth ambassador, so that they also get that recognition. So first, training of such influencers is must. Master training programs. So in drug abuse prevention, we have a very good strategy. We launched Pradhav, or I would say Nav Chetna modules. We made teachers as ambassadors, and then when teachers were trained, they counseled the students and made them peer-led intervention monitors. So at least one we are making as an ambassador, we have to question, are they trained and certified? Because when you are certified for anything, you come up with credibility. You question yourself that if I am going to speak tomorrow, my words will be marked, my words will be somehow recorded. Giving, I would say, very rudimentary kind of certifications or vague ones without any proper licensing is, I would say, not that much measurable or giving a good kind of long term effect. So, training with proper certification, which is, I would say, administered with state authorities, will give proper legitimacy. And then comes the real, use of social media and partnerships. So this is a strategy. It's like what I am just passing out. So here comes the real role of political will and administrative structuring. This cannot be done without these two main components. And political will only comes when we as youth, or when we as people speak and put that forward. As one of the panelists spoke, that are we putting up those kind of questions, are we putting up those kind of request to the political leaders? So that pressure has to be always, that needs to be utilized in a very structured way. And then obviously, administration acts in that way. And when we talk about another part, So that is also the curriculum. I don't know about tobacco, how we are integrating it, but it needs to again go in a very, from an ethical, that is a moral aspect, to a very, I would say, implementative aspect. We cannot directly impose any kind of medical education कि कोई भी किताब है या फिर कोई भी book है उसमें हम वो चीज पढ़ाना start कर दें. No. We have not to make any student kind of a very much inclined towards any medical practice, but it has to be worked upon. That internal awareness has to be there कि उसको पता हो कि उसके लिए क्या अच्छा है क्या बुरा है. So that needs to be done through content dissemination in curriculum. But for that, again, the counselors in the school, the teachers in the school needs to be trained and properly certified. Again, for this, DITE, SERT, State Council for Research and Training, NCERT, these have to collaborate here. So this is interministerial administrative collaboration. And when teachers will be properly trained in the tobacco aspect, then only curriculum can be made in such a way. And lastly, if to conclude, because I cannot, go very long on this because it's a lot to speak on political and administrative structuring, but it is all about three things. You have to prioritize, you have to mandate, and then fund. This is how anything works. And all of that is a strategy. Without strategy, we cannot move. So need to set what are the priorities. As I spoke on social media, you need to have clear key performing indicators. Mandate is very important, and then comes the fun part. Because without that, nothing can be implemented. So this is what I will say. And lastly, to sum up, progress is impossible without change. Progress is impossible without change. And those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. Change comes from you first, then to your family, and then to the society. अगर मैं यहाँ पर tobacco pe itna, I'm speaking a lot, but in my family, my father or my might be younger brother or anyone, wo khud tobacco kha rahe hain. So that's the big question, ki what I am speaking. So is my family or me, I am myself empowered, and then only I can lead the change. So that is what I'll say. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you, Dikshant, for nicely you respond to this query. So let's move to our next panelist, Diksha. So Diksha, as you are working, you are volunteer with many organizations and also work with NSS and other networks. Now, currently you are working in the private sector with a CSR executive for Hero Honda. So how you think that private sector and CSR we harness to support tobacco control, especially youth-led initiatives, and foster sustainable community-driven impact? So how you think about it, Diksha?
So thank you so much, Rajiv sir. And let me correct you for once. It's only Honda, not Hero Honda. We were just about it from us. So thank you at RCTC for having this discussion today. So being a CSR executive, so CSR can play a critical role in strengthening tobacco control, especially when we focus on youth-led activities. The private sector has resources, network, and visibility that can amplify the impact of young people's work. First, companies can directly support youth groups through funding, mentorship, or technology, helping them run awareness campaigns, peer education programs, or community projects. When young people lead these efforts, the message resonates very strongly, or more strongly, I can say that. Second, CSR partnership can connect youth organizations with NGOs, health agencies, and schools, allowing successful initiatives to grow and reach more communities. These collaborations also help bring youth voices into decision-making spaces. Lastly, business can adopt and promote strong smoke-free policy and support national measures that protect young people from tobacco marketing. When the private sector models health norms, it reinforces a wider culture of prevention. In short, if I can say that, CSI can transform tobacco control into a shared responsibility where the energy of youth is supported by the resources of the private sector, leading to sustainable community-driven impact. And these we can do that by, I have just summarized my points: direct investment in youth-led prevention programs, cross-sector partnership that amplify reach, creating supportive environments through corporate policies. And to sustain youth engagement, like sustainability is what we need. We don't want to be the one, we don't want to be the part of a campaign that is only event based. We just want to sustain it as well. So to sustain youth engagement in tobacco control, we need to shift from one-time events to creating a sense of ownership among young people. First, establish ongoing youth ambassadors or peer educator programs so students take long-term responsibility rather than participating only once. Second, integrate tobacco awareness into school and colleges ecosystems through health clubs, or we can say school clubs, and monthly activities. Third, keep continuous digital engagement through WhatsApp group, short videos, reels, quizzes, and social media challenges. This matches the way youth communicate today. Fourth, focus on skill challenges. This matches the way youth communicated today, and also train them in content creation, theater, public speaking, and leadership. So the campaign also adds value to their personal growth as well. Finally, recognize their contribution regularly through certification, short outs, internship, and opportunities to represent their school and community. When youth feel empowered, skilled, connected, and appreciated, their engagement naturally becomes consistent and long-term rather than event-based. So this were my insight on the question that you have given to me. So thank you.
Thank you, Diksha, for this very well response to this question. So maybe we will not take a second round of questions, but we'll ask all the panelists again. What is your message to the youth? But before that, we'll take one question to Dr. Shivam. So what is the single regulatory measures could most effectively reduce youth access to tobacco product in next year? So Dr. Shivam.
Thank you, Rajiv. And I think considering all the panelists and the voices, what we are talking today, I think the single most achievable measure where I think we should channelize all our energy should be the raising the minimum legal age. I think we are already that is from 18 to 21. We are already seen the achievements at state level in Karnataka and Jharkhand where there has been COTPA amendment. But I think at national level is what we should have that kind of more energy and more messaging towards this regulatory change. And why I think this is something that we should aim for, because I think there is whole lot of evidence globally how this is a very effective policy. The other thing being that we have seen from GATS2 and GYTS that we do have early age of initiation. We do have users clustered between the lumping around 15 to 20 years of age group. So I think in the next year, if this is the target, we have supportive policies currently to even push it. We have toffee picking up in India, and we have retail licensing, tobacco vendor licensing happening around, which will again push this. And lastly, I'll again talk about the tobacco-free youth campaign, which is building up the momentum by empowering youth. I think so. This MLSA or MLSP, which is minimum legal sale age or purchase, is the regulatory change which is evidence-based and something which is achievable. And I think after 1 year, probably we should also see if this is achieved. What is the change of tobacco use? What is the difference that is happening? I think through solid and stricter enforcement measures. I think this is something which we should focus upon. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Shivam. So, a very common questions to all the panelists. We'll start with Dr. Shivam only. So, what is your message to the young generations? Maybe you can just make a short statement. Your key message to the youth.
Yeah, I think I gave those two messages. One being if you see something, say something. And second being if industry has picked up all the, glorifying and romanticizing tobacco and nicotine. And if you're seeing all this on screen, youth should be the one holding the lens, recording it and holding the industry accountable. So these two messages, I think.
Thank you, Dr. Shivam. So over to Lalit Dogra.
Thank you.
Your message to the youth, maybe a very short message.
Yes, sir. So at last, definitely the message to the youth and my peers is like we all should together say no to tobacco and we all should say yes to life because every puff steals a bit of your breath. So say yes to your health, say yes to your future, and say yes to your family. So this is the message to youth, sir, from my end. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lalit. Over to Dr. Hansa. Your message to youth, the young generation.
So yeah, they need to see. We need to give them examples. I think I'll give them examples of Pierce Brosnan, who used to advertise for tobacco long time back for Marlboro, and then he died with lung cancer. I would give them example of Salman Khan, who left smoking after he got that facial paralysis. I would give them example of Irfan Khan, sorry, who died because of lung cancer. So this is something which they need to know, and it is that tobacco will always say them, "You catch me young, I'll grow old with you." So this vicious circle will go on, and don't blame me because your will is weak and mine is strong. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So over to Dr. Arushi for your message to young generation.
So my message would only be that since this is something a little separate from what the rest have said, what I feel is I also being a part of this generation, and of course the future ones, we are very, very driven, career driven, all of those things, very driven. So I would honestly want to encourage them that if you want to pursue your dreams, you need to quit tobacco first, because if you have life, you could pursue those dreams. So I would want to encourage them. And plus, I know the vanity is a big thing these days. So those wrinkles and all of those, it takes a toll. Aging, it is a fast process when you consume tobacco. So I would like to give those messages also so that they get attracted to it. I mean, making them quit in any which way, basically. If this doesn't work, those lectures don't work, so go for this.
Thank you. Over to Dikshant Sharma for your message to youth.
My message to youth is in whatever capacity you are working for any organization, for anything, just contribute your part. Just do a small thing. If you are a student, a small counseling can help. If you are a teacher, a small, mentorship can help. If you are a lawyer, your legal advice can help. If you are an officer, your administrative will can help. So if you're anyone, your small action as a youth can really change, and be true to yourself. That is very important. अपने आप से सच होना सबसे बड़ी ईमानदारी है। कोई भी काम आप करते हैं जिंदगी में, जब तक आप खुद से ईमानदार नहीं है, आपका हर एक एक्शन I would say null and void है. So true to yourself, true to your country and this nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dikshant. Diksha, give your message to the youth.
Yes. So, to all young people, you have the power to shape a healthy future. Your voice matters, your choice matters, and your influence is stronger than you think. Stand together against tobacco and any industry that tries to harm your generation. Be the role model your friends look up to. Choose health, choose strength, and choose a life full of possibilities. You are the generation that can end tobacco's impact. Believe in your power and lead the change. Thank you.
Thank you, Diksha. So now over to the chairs for your closing remarks. Even if any comment on all the presenters.
Is Radhika around?
Yes, I'm very much here.
Okay. You want to go first?
Sure. Okay. So first of all, I think personally I'm inspired. When I in my initial remarks, I said that I started this journey 20 years back, and in so many years, sometimes you lose sight of the larger goal. But I think today I am again energized, and I think ready to go for the next 20 years. So thank you very much to all the panelists. I really want to make a special mention for Deekshant. The points that you have made, it is about, it is about translating the thought into concrete action on ground. So I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much for, that reality check. One thing which I wanted to say, and in many of the discussions when youth leadership on tobacco control is discussed, this is a point which is left out many a times, and I want to also credit this to Mrs. Jyotsna Govil, who is the chairperson of the Indian Cancer Society in Delhi. There is a report on tobacco control in India 2022. That's the second edition of the report. It's available online in the ministry's website, Health Ministry's website. In that, there is a chapter on tobacco-free future generation, and and so I was one of the authors in that chapter, and she was a co-author. And one of the points which is there in that chapter is when it comes to youth advocacy, it should be that no youth is left behind. It should not be just all of us who I consider the privileged lot who have the opportunity to raise their voices. Particularly children, adolescents, young adults who are engaged in the tobacco industry trade, like the tendu leaf pluckers, bidi rollers, they are also young people, right? And so we need to make sure that no young person is left behind, and everyone is given an opportunity to be a tobacco control advocate. I'll stop here. Over to Dr. Rakesh Gupta.
Thank you, Radhika. The webinar overall has definitely taught us a lot more through the very virtuous panelists. They have given their experiences and have also given some hints as to what can be done. And I hope, Rajiv, that recommendations will include their suggestions and their point of view as well. But I consider we need to be more precise in what we really wish. And concurrences are very important for going ahead with the advocacy. As Radhika said, we need to have evidence-based strategies. What we need, I consider, is how much youth supports tobacco control or end for tobacco in the country. I think that is where we really need to work through the researches in a wide manner. The people, and particularly our politicians, need to listen to this, that this is what our youth needs. And will politicians ever listen in the democracy which is vote-based? I think the only way they would listen to is when youth is affecting their electioneering process. So tobacco-free youth should be part of the election campaign of every party. I think that is very important. Deekshant did a very good job in mentioning this very specifically when he said that political and administrative will administrative mandate has to go in hand and cross sectorally. I think that's a very important point that he has made. I think Arushi did a very good job in overall explaining the things. And my only thought at that time when she was saying about the social media engagement, during this campaign itself, could she identify the people who are as the youth voices? Will those youth voices will be supported in some way on a sustainable basis by the GSA? Because we need youth voices who should be identified, like what has been said by Dr. Hansa as the Malala and Greta Thunberg. We need our own icons amongst the youth who would say that we want tobacco-free India. We want tobacco endgame for India. We want tobacco-free youth forever. So those are the things which we really need to take over. And I think overall, it's been a very good experience, very empowering, and I felt very privileged to be with Radhika chairing this session, because I know Radhika has worked much more than what even I have been into tobacco youth campaigns, etc. So kudos to Hriday particularly for their work, and also to sharing for the work that they have done in Mumbai. But we have worked largely in Mumbai and Delhi. We have to work throughout the country. Pan-India working is important. And it's 25 years now that we have a proper tobacco control movement in the country to the government. We need to do much more. That's how I feel unsatisfied. And my message is that tobacco control should not continue forever. It has to have an endpoint. It has to have an endpoint in this generation only. It should not continue for generations over. That's what I have been saying for last 10 years. I think that's my message to everybody. Thank you very much. Once again, RCTC, Dr. Sonu, Dr. Rajiv, and all the panelists, and on the guests of honor. Thanks very much. Over to you,
Thank you
Rajiv.
both. Thank you, Dr. Rakesh Gupta sir and Dr. Radhika Srivastava ma'am, for chairing this session, and very nicely remarks on each presenter's panelist comments. Thank you. So I think Professor Sonu Goyal sir is here. So maybe we can ask Dr. Sonu to comment on this.
Thank you. I think a wonderful webinar, one of the best webinar which I attended. Because why I'm saying it best, because we are working, as Dr. Radhika has said, for a long time in tobacco control. But I think we have a diverse focus in tobacco control. So we are working on different aspects, be it taxation, be it smoke-free. But I think involving youth is one of the important thing, and I really like the suggestion given by all the panelists without naming each one. So I think all the panelists have given good suggestion. I was seeing some of the suggestions on the chat as well. So I request my team, first of all, that please retrieve all those things which has been written on the chat, number one. And we will listen twice or thrice this particular webinar to pen down in very crisp language the recommendations which will go to ministry. So we will be sending this to ministry, and simultaneously that will go as a tobacco-free time, as I already said. So I think I need not repeat the things which has been said earlier, but the main thing which we need to see here, that how we can create those people who can drive, and those youth actually who can drive, who can be seen on the media more often, who can be seen on, I think, not only driving in a village which is unseen by others. I think we need to be seen as well, because when you are seen, then it creates a drive. And rightly pointed initially by Sanjeev ji earlier, that how we can be seen more often in the social media, in the digital media. So that creates a lot of ripple. So I think I end my point here, I think. Yeah, over to Rajiv.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you,
Sanjeev ji has raised the hand. So quickly, Sanjeev ji. Yes.
So we have a legacy of singers, we have a legacy of culture, मतलब जैसे अब देखो, मैं फिर वही बात कह रहा हूँ, सॉरी आपने मुझे एम्फेसाइज भी कर दिया है, बट मैं फिर भी बोलूंगा कि रिलीजन जो है बहुत बड़ा पार्ट प्ले कर रहा है इसमें इंडियन सोसाइटी के अंदर। मुसलमानों में फतवा जारी होता है, सिखों में हुक्मनामा जारी होता है, हमारे भी यहाँ पे हमारे पास अराउंड द ईयर हमारे पास कितने रिलीजियस एक्टिविटीज हैं, फेस्टिवल्स हैं, जगराते हैं, कितना कुछ है, एक्टिविटीज हैं। अगर हम वहां पे सर हिट करें ना, तो हम लोग समझते हैं पॉलिटिकल विल अपने आप उसके पीछे आएगी, बल्कि
हाँ जी
पॉलिटिकल
संजीव
विल
जी,
भी उसके पीछे आएगी।
या
ये सब बहुत
यस,
बड़ा
ये
फैक्टर है
कुछ
सर।
या आई थिंक योर पॉइंट इज वेल टेकन। कुछ चीजें हो भी रही हैं, जैसे अभी अगर आपको पता हो कि हमारा जो कुंभ मेला था, जो इस बार हुआ था, महाकुंभ मेला हुआ था, तो महाकुंभ के अंदर इट वाज अ स्मोक फ्री महाकुंभ, एंड ऑल द सेजेस देयर were sensitized on this, and they were advocating on the smoke free. So I think these sort of activities are happening, but I think your point is right that we need to show them more. I think they need to be showcased so that everyone sees that. Right. Rajiv.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Sonugul sir and Sanjeev Jaggi sir for this suggestions. So thanks to all the panelists, Dr. Shivam, Mr. Lalit, and Dr. Hansa Kundu, Dr. Arushi Sabharwal, Mr. Dikshant Sharma, and Diksha for nicely have these discussions. And thanks to the chairs, Dr. Radhika and Dr. Rakesh Gupta. So now I hand over to Dr. Jatina again for making a formal closing.
Jatina, are you here with us? Ravita or Jatina? Ravita?
Okay, so I think there is some internet issue with Jatina. So I will invite Dr. Ravita to formally propose vote of thanks. Over to Dr. Ravita.
Thank you, Rajiv sir. So, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the organizing team, RCTC, it is my honor to deliver the vote of thanks for today's national webinar on Youth Against Tobacco, Building a National Movement for Change in India. I extend my heartful gratitude to our esteemed opening speaker, Professor Sonu Goyal, for setting the tone of the event with his insightful and motivating remarks. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our guests of honor, Ms. Shering Bhutia, Dr. Rakesh Gupta, and Mr. Ashish Pandey, for their thoughtful reflections and their continued leadership in strengthening tobacco control in India. My special thanks to Ms. Shering Bhutia as well for delivering a powerful and inspiring keynote address that highlighted the immense potential of youth in driving a national movement against tobacco. I also wish to extend deep gratitude to the chairs of the panel discussion, Dr. Rakesh Gupta and Ms. Radhika Srivastava, for guiding the conversation with clarity and purpose, and to our moderator, Mr. Rajiv Kumar, for skillfully facilitating the session. I warmly acknowledge all our panelists, Dr. Shivam Kapoor, Mr. Lalit Dogra, Dr. Hansa Kundu, Dr. Arushi Sabharwal, Mr. Dikshant Sharma, and Ms. Diksha, for sharing diverse and meaningful perspectives from their respective fields. Your contributions added immense value and helped to shape a comprehensive understanding of the opportunities and pathways for building India's first youth tobacco-free roadmap. I extend my heartfelt appreciation to the organizing committee, technical team, and support staff for their dedication and meticulous coordination, which ensured the seamless execution of today's event. A special word of thanks goes to the youth participants, partner organizations, and attendees who joined us from different parts of the country. Your active involvement, thoughtful questions, and enthusiasm truly enriched the discussions. As we conclude, I am confident that the insights and commitments shared today will significantly strengthen our collective effort to empower young people and build a strong national movement for a tobacco-free India. Let us carry forward this momentum with renewed collaboration and determination. Thank you all once again for your valuable presence and participation. Wishing everyone a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Over to Rajiv sir.
Yeah,
So thank you, Dr. Ravita, for formally giving a closing remarks and vote of thanks to everyone. So thank you everyone for joining us, and please stay tuned with us for the next webinar